Welcome to another episode of Think Out Loud, and today we're talking about putting off tasks. How many times have you said, I will do it tomorrow, or I'll do it later, or I'll get round to it? Who are you kidding? Happens a lot to everyone, I think, and it's one of those things I was thinking about. Why is it that we do that? Why do we put it off? Why do we avoid it? Do we even realise we are avoiding it? And there was a number of different things I was thinking it comes down to. Firstly, you don't want to do it. It could be a task that's unpleasant, or doing a chore around the house, doing a task at work that's very mundane and dull and repetitive. So it could be that you don't actually want to do the task, and therefore you put it off and you put it off and you put it off until it gets to a point where you have to do it, right? So that's one of the options, but equally it could be that you're actually scared of doing it. And I thought that was an interesting concept, because a lot of the things that we do on a day-to-day basis aren't actually that scary, although we perceive them as being quite scary. So possibly it comes down to that. What's the fear that you have about that, doing that particular task? Is it provoking anxiety, and hence you're kind of blocking it out until tomorrow? I'll come back to that tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll break that habit tomorrow. I'll plan things tomorrow. I'll get up early tomorrow. I'll just have another lie-in today, and tomorrow I'll be better. I'll try harder, etc. I'll get back to the gym tomorrow. All of these things that we go through on a day-to-day basis, there's sometimes, we need to think, why are we putting them off, and what is the reason for that? So maybe we don't want to do it. Maybe we're scared of it. Maybe we're concerned about the outcome. So one of my previous episodes, we were talking about maybe picking up the phone or having a conversation with a client, and how sometimes that can be quite daunting, because you're worried that that client might be asking you questions that you don't have the answers for. You could be put on the spot and not know what to say, or freeze, lose any vocabulary, which has happened to me before. You could be doing a presentation or standing up in front of a crowd where you suddenly have brain freeze and you can't think what it is that you need to say. What are the next words? You've seen it time and time again on the likes of Dragon's Den, where they're pitching for investment and they just clam up. They have no words. They've forgotten their pitch. They've forgotten anything. They can't get any words out. They start sweating profusely. So there's, a lot of this is down to fear or anxiety or worry about what the actual outcome might be. Like, normally, if you're building up to doing a presentation, it's not that likely you're going to forget everything. It's not that likely you're not going to have the right answers. And in most cases, you're going to be pretty well versed to be able to manage any queries that come up. You're the person that's put that data together. You're the person that's done all of that work. So you're the best person to know about it, right? But for some reason, we lose our confidence. We think always about what the negatives will be rather than the positive outcomes. Equally, sometimes it's when you're unsure of what to do. So this comes up often, I would say, with either managing clients or managing a team, where if the direction has not been clear enough or has just been misunderstood, it can be both ends of the communication channel, then sometimes you think, oh, why is that task not done? Why have my team not finished that particular thing? And it's not because they don't want to do it, it's because they actually don't understand it, and they haven't quite got what I wanted, or I haven't explained clearly enough what my vision of it is. I've maybe just talked around it, not really given any clear action of where I want that to go. And equally with clients, we can tend to think that they know a lot more about what we're talking about than they actually do. All due respect to all of my lovely clients, past, present and future out there, but your expertise aren't necessarily in doing what we do day in, day out. So there's bound to be gaps within what we're talking about. And we need to be very clear to communicate quite clearly with our clients exactly what it is that we're doing, why we're doing it, and what it is that we need back from them. So sometimes being unsure about what to do leads to that lack of action. And then finally, I think prioritizing things over that particular task. And that probably comes down to a number of the other points that I've mentioned. So if you're putting that task at the bottom of the list, normally there's a reason. Obviously, it will come around that it's not as high a priority as other things, but the longer it goes on, the more priority it must become. Otherwise, it's a dead task that doesn't actually need doing. Why is it on your list in the first place? So just a few things to think about and to question when you are putting off things, when you're putting off going back to the gym or doing that bit of exercise, or cutting down on the booze, or cutting down your caffeine, or spending some time on your well-being. Oh, I'll start that tomorrow. I'll start this tomorrow. I'll do that task tomorrow. I'll finish that project tomorrow. Sometimes it just comes down to the fact that you don't know why you're putting it off. And when you look into that, you can figure out a way around. So that's been me, another week of Think Out Loud. Join me next week for another episode. Thanks then. Bye-bye.